What did were you working today?
I was.
No, were you talking to Evan today?
I was talking
Is
to
this
him.
on? Right.
Are we on?
Yeah.
I was talking to him briefly, yeah.
What did you say? What did he say to you?
I was just picking his brain to see what I was facing.
Well, you've listened to it.
I've listened to it, yeah, but it's a lot different when you're in the seat yourself, like, you know.
Yeah. But this wouldn't be something that you'd be used to doing.
No.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, a year and a half ago, it wasn't something I'd be used to doing either.
I'm well used to talking, but not when a this type of audience, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, this week we have a man named James Forrestal. He's a Stone Cold Cowboy. Are you Stone Cold Cowboy, would you say, all your life?
I think the only reason you actually came up with that was you seen it on the back wall of one of the trucks I had one night.
I'd say it was one of yours.
Yeah, well, at the Camross run one night.
Yeah.
And you took a savage liking to that saying after
I
that.
did. It was so funny because I thought it was first funny because the first funny thing that I seen on the back of a lorry, I remember going out with a load of timber one day and someone on the back of a lorry said, "Cowboys don't care." And it was an old lad and I was there, "Cowboys don't care." And I remember saying to him next day, what does that mean? Cowboy, like, no, I'm a cowboy. No, Tar Road, you know, the cowboy. And I just thought it was fierce funny.
Yeah, sure it is, yeah.
You're a Kilkenny man.
Thomastown, yeah.
Thomastown. And you know Evan Kelly that was here doing the podcast.
I do, sure. He's one of my very close friends now, yeah.
He would grew up together.
He was a little older than me growing up. So when I was going around a push bike, Evan was going around the car, like, you know.
What that much of a difference?
Sure, probably 3 or 4 years, I'd say.
Yeah, when you're younger, that's a big difference.
When you're 13 and someone is 17, they're driving. That's a big difference.
I know.
4 years is a long time when you're waiting to be 17.
Yeah. What was your first car?
It's funny you asked that now. I wanted to buy a fast car like everyone else wanted to buy.
Yeah.
Father said, "No, you're not buying one of them yokes. No way, you're getting the van."
Did you?
No, I didn't get a van, no. So he was up the country one day, I think he was in Mayo. And he was walking down the street and he seen this Citroen Saxo. And there was a for sale sign on the back of it and there's a roll cage in it. But when he seen the car, it was a great idea.
Yeah.
So he said, "This is the car for you." I think he'd even put a deposit on the car.
There and then?
There and then I went up and collected it then.
On the side of the street?
On the side of the street, yeah.
And were you delighted?
I was delighted, yeah.
Is that like a present?
No, I had to buy it. But he just wanted one. So I went up and collected it and I don't know what, it was about $3,000 or something, you know.
Had you a full license?
It was a 1.6 VGR. She wasn't too bad for a young lad, like.
Had you a full license?
Jesus, I didn't even drive it home myself. I'd say we brought home the trailer. I was only about 16 and a half, I'd say.
As you were well ready to
I was ready to go,
yeah. Got there. How many in your family?
So mother and father, obviously, and 3 sisters.
3 sisters.
3 sisters, yeah.
School, did you like it? You the baby?
No.
Your sister younger than you?
I have 1 younger sister and 2 older.
You're only boy.
Only boy.
Yeah. Were you spoiled?
No. It's definitely made do more work than the rest of them, though.
Really?
100%, yeah.
Women do not.
Sure.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Like,
don't be afraid to say it.
Like, there's not, I know there's a few now, but not many women get stuck into lorries, like, you know. But as when I was younger, there was cows at home. We only had a small little farm. There was cows at home, so the girls would be more involved with that then. But then with the trucks, I suppose, sure, you get the chap out, don't you?
Yeah. And you're outside the town a bit.
We're about a mile outside the town and we're at the end of a lane with small little premises there and it's like really private. So it's actually a really nice place, you know.
So would you have considered yourself farmers or hauliers back then?
Oh, definitely hauliers. Definitely hauliers. Like I can vaguely remember cows being at home, like, you know, vaguely remember, like I was very young.
But you always remember the lorries?
Oh yes, the lorries were there from the get-go. The lorries were there, you know. I'm sure my father he probably had lorries maybe even before I was born. Around that time I think he got lorries, yeah.
Timber?
No, I think he started off delivering coal, I think, with a Morris Minor or something, I think like that. But he had a JCB before that and he started off with a rigid. I think it was something got to do with it. I think he was delivering coal and doing stuff like that. I think that's what he was at the start.
You can't remember that though.
I just see the pictures of the way you look through pictures at home years ago and you see the truck and you'd say, what was that for? And
yeah.
You vaguely remember stuff like, you know, I think what makes me remember that is that he had a forklift and he obviously didn't have a Moffat. The Moffats were expensive, like. So he used to reverse the forklift up the side of the trailer off from the ground with 2 rams. I don't think there was even brakes on the forklift, so you could have went off the far side, like when you go up there, like, you know.
Nice and nice and safe.
I think that's what makes you remember to go. You know that.
That's mad.
It's mad, yeah. And it was actually a dumper, actually turned into a forklift, I think. Do you know that?
And that was just him doing that.
It was doing that, yeah.
And what do you remember? What's your earliest memory of the lorries and stuff?
The earliest memory of lorries definitely was drawing beat to the sugar factory in Carlow. My father used to always like someone to go with him. I think it was more of a company thing, but he used to let us on that he needed us anyway. But I think it was just...
I mean, you mad for lorries when you were a young lad?
No.
Or did you care?
Definitely not. Even like, you know, when I was in school, I used to say to my father, like I went block lane after my junior cert, I said, no way I'm doing lorries. Like,
You left school, didn't like it?
I left school I left after my junior cert. So after my junior cert, we went for a party and I actually went back and work on the next day. I was actually working with your man already. I just got a day off, you know. So...
just doing a bit of labouring and stuff?
Yeah, but sure, I started my apprenticeship then as a bricklayer. That's the whole mess, you know.
Did you finish it?
I done all the phase and FOSS. So I went as far as 6 phase. And then... I was meant to go back to site for 6 weeks or 12 weeks to finish out. You're meant to build certain amount of stuff, chimney breast and whatever else. And sure, I was gone at this stage. I think I was at home working the yard for my father that time. The building collapsed. That was around 2009 or 10, I'd say. I gave it up.
Things got quiet.
I'd say I didn't even do... I done about 3.5 years at it, probably, I'd say, you know, something like that.
And what were you doing back in the yard?
Sure, the building was kind of gone crappy at the time. The money was gone very small at it, and it was raining, and so if it was raining, you're not getting paid, especially when there's a recession going on. So father just put me on a handy wage and put me in the yard, just fixing trailers and mechanic. And sure, I was always kind of at that growing up when the lorries were always there anyway. I'm not a qualified mechanic, right?
But you would have known adjusting brake chambers and greasing the trailers.
Yeah, the general messing around, changing
Had you a big shed for it?
Jeez, no.
Or lying down on the ground, hardcore?
Lying down on the ground. Jeez, we done it tough for a long time. Yeah, we done it tough for a long time. We didn't have concrete for a long time.
How many lorries had you back then?
Back then when I was in the yard, so I was probably about 19 at the time, he had about 4 or 5 lorries, I'd say. He had probably 4 lorries drawn steel and he was backloading timber that time, yeah.
Because when I first met you, I was working down in Galway with Pat Collier. He had the long-term contract and he used to come in loading the flats. Yeah,
there was a lad up there who used to load us, yeah.
Yeah. But that wasn't your lorry that loaded?
No, it wasn't, no. It was the person that had the contract there at that time, yeah.
Because when you started, your father was a gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you started, you're only a young lad. I didn't think that I was there. Oh, that's your young lad.
Well, I look fair young when I did start now.
You were a chap. You looked like a young lad.
I did. Like, lads used to see me behind the wheel and I knew they were saying, like, that lad can't be driving.
Yeah, like what age are you?
Now?
No, back then.
I often think about this, but I think I was around 19 and a half. I think I was around 19. Maybe I was 20 when I got my license. I'm not sure. Around that age. Yeah. Yeah, about 20, I think, yeah.
And did you like doing that? Or did you just have to, or was it a natural progression? Did you want to?
I always said I wouldn't have done the lorries. And then the building was kind of gone pear-shaped. And I said, it's very hard, a block lane, even nowadays, it's very hard to get constant wage at. Because you have a year like we have there now. There could a whole week pass, you might only get 1 or 2 days wages, like, or 2 weeks past, 2 days wage. You know, sure. There's no, what's the word?
Constant.
Yeah, there's no constant flow, like, you know. So then, sure, when I was in the garage, all I wanted to do was get on the road.
Yeah, because you were sick of the hard work.
Get on the road.
Everyone else has a handy.
Yeah, well, they're all on the road, like, so you wanted to get out there. So I started driving then, and yes, I was through into the deep end.
You were?
Yeah, first of all, I think my father wanted to start me off slow, so he didn't have a truck for me, so he used to let me drive to Galway in the evening time and collect the trailer that was loaded on the side of the road.
That's what you did.
As I started off, which only lasted for about 2 weeks. Yeah, I wanted to do what the drivers there were doing. Yeah. He had really good drivers, and I just wanted to do what they were doing. So I felt like I was able to. But sure, I thought I was the right lad, but sure, I was a revved up young lad. So I was. Yeah.
And did you find going into the woods hard, backing in, waiting to get loaded?
If there was nobody there, I would probably back around on my left-hand side and you wouldn't be too bad, like, you know. But if the crane is there, you want to get it right if there's lads watching. There's a bit of pressure, like, but I was driving the lorries out of the wood loaded from around 15, 16. Father used to let me drive out the lane loaded, like, you know. So when I did get in to drive the lorries,
It wasn't very alien for you.
What?
It wasn't alien to you.
No, it wasn't alien, but still though, you know yourself, coming out the wood lane, there's branches hanging out there and you're trying to keep over, the branches are buried off the lorry and the wheels of the trailer are getting close to the edge of the road and, you know, there's a lot to take in. And you don't...
Trailers weren't the sweetest probably for the wood.
Well, yeah, they were long trailers, but they weren't too bad. You know, lads think they're worse than they are. He used to order them with kind of short enough wheelbase for the wood as well, so they weren't too bad even though they were 45s.
And aren't you putting the bars on? And
yeah, she had to put up the bars. But sure, you're young then, you don't even think about that stuff, do you?
I was looking at you in the cab thinking about it. They're looking at poor bastards. After drawing steel and then come back for the...
Yeah, we were drawing steel and sure, sometimes we'd be drawing fertilizer, sometimes we'd be drawing timber as well, you know.
So you...
That feels like an age ago now.
And I remember Raoul had come into the wood saying, I was there, where's James? He's gone to Australia.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Never out. Got sick of it. I want more money.
I was around...
Not having it.
Yeah, so I was 22, I think, when I went to Australia. And...
Why'd you go?
The boys were going when I was maybe around 19 or 20. I said to Father, I'm going to Australia. No, you're not. No, you're not going. You're too young. Like, you know, you can't, you know, you're over here screwed enough. You know, I think he just didn't want me to go in case I didn't come home, you know. And then...
he was probably enjoying having you there as well.
Yeah, sure, it was great. Like, the two of us together, you know. And he says to me at one stage, I said, we may buy a rigid here for loading these flats. Like, this has gone, you know, double-handed timber. It was just hardship, I said. He said, I'm not signing on the line for any more rides. He said, you want a rigid, go buy it yourself.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that then for the whole day. And I said to myself, I'm not going getting finance out here now. I'm going to Australia, you know. Yeah. How I'm going to be tied down at 20. And as you know yourself, if you get into finance at that age,
you're in it.
But you're never getting out of it. Like. So I came home the night and I said to him, I know you don't want me to go, but I said, I'm going to go anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and then he thought about it for a couple of days and then he said,
right.
yeah, you know, do go. You know, so I tipped off then, myself and one of my best friends at the time, Ragers there. Sure.
Evan was on about Ragers as well,
wasn't he? Yeah. Sure, we're all the one click, like, you know. So we tipped off anyway and we had good friends over there.
You knew what you were going to do over there.
Sure, I thought I was going over to make a fortune Blockend, like, you know. Thought I was going over to clean up. Everyone's making $3,000, $4,000. So I got off the plane, I'd say I went drinking for about 4 weeks. And then maybe 3 weeks. And I was thinking like, Jesus, my bank account is going down or down, there's nothing coming in. You know, and all the
That's
boys...
how it works.
Yeah. All the boys were working for kind of Australian... I say they were Irish companies, but it was in Australia, you know. So I said, fuck, I'd like to do something different. I'd like to do, like, you know, work with the Aussies, see what they're like. I knew I wasn't going to be there for that long, a year or two. You know, I had in the back of my head that I'd like to get home and continue on what was going on, like, you know. So I went off, one of the boys, so I couldn't get work first. I was ringing to get these truck driving jobs. They wouldn't even adhere me. Couldn't understand me, number one, I'd say.
Really?
So, sure, my thick Irish accent, like, it's hard to understand at the best of times, sometimes.
I don't think you're that bad.
Yeah.
It's not like you're a Kerry man. Sorry to all the Kerry men.
But,
West Cork people.
But so I wanted to buy his then Colander. He got me a job Brick Lane with the crowd he was with. And sure, must have... You go to Australia, you think you're going to the sun. It must have rained for the first 2 weeks. I went Brick Lane. And sure,
rain?
I was only in the door, so like obviously you weren't going to get paid. So I think I worked like 4 days or 6 days in 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. It was not anyway, like, you know, for the money I was at to been spending.
wasn't topping it up.
Enjoying myself, like, you know, it was getting very, very thin. So I said to myself, I need to get a job now that's
paying well.
That's all weather, like, you know, that you can keep moving. If it's going, because the Aussies were saying it could rain for a month, like at that time of the year, on and off, like. So I kept ringing these lads anyway. Just one day I got into bed, I said, "Does someone take me on? You know, if I could keep ringing." So I just rang. Eventually rang this lad and he said, "Come out to the yard and you can go with the foreman. You can go
this on the lorry, like?
On the lorry, yeah. So it's truck and dog. So it's kind of like a rigid in front and a dolly trailer and a tipper on the back. There's 2 tippers on it, like, you know.
Normal lorry? Or like one of those
a normal rigid
gearbox?
A normal rigid. Yeah, like a rigid truck. a double drive with a tipper on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a dolly drawbar trailer, like.
Yeah.
And a tipper on the back as well. They call it the truck and the dog because it's a dolly, so the trailer follows the truck, like, you know.
Yeah, dolly.
Yeah,
Well,
like-
how long was the dolly trailer?
I don't know what length it was, but it used to carry about, the whole lot was 48 ton gross, and I can't remember what way it used to be split up now. Maybe it was
Was it a short rigid?
short rigid
And then
but
a long trailer.
longish enough a dolly trailer.
Yeah.
With single axle on the front, double on the back. Fine, you go on it, you'd be surprised where you go at now. I was amazed. You could drive up by a footpath and you'd barely go into the 2 lanes of traffic and you could just hang a left.
And were they tidied back?
With the wheels right to the back. But they were very manoeuvrable. So we used to do a lot of city work, you know. But at the start, I was in the passenger seat for probably about a week. And I tried to get into to tip it in the tip and I couldn't get it, like, because they're just, this is fucking, you know. So your man was a bit impatient for me. He threw me straight back into the passenger seat anyway, and that's where I sat for another couple of days. I still wasn't getting paid, like, there was still no money coming in. So one of the lads was working for a man, fucked up there one day. I think he drove on and the brake pipe fell off and he dragged the brakes. He dragged the tyres.
Let's show you the tyres.
I think he dragged it for 50 or 60 kilometres.
Oh, that'd do it.
He flattened the 8 tyres in the back of the trailer. So even though they didn't think I was able to drive, I was probably still better than what was in the lorry anyway.
Yeah.
So that was grand. My first job was to go to the tyre place and get 8 tyres put in the back of the trailer. So I was after being in the other truck that morning with the foreman, so I knew where they were loading that day. So I said, what's the point of ringing your man now? Asking him, can I go?
Just
in,
go.
In and get a load, like. You know, so I'll just go in and get a load and see what happens. So the foreman meets me flying in the road anyway. He says, Irish, where are you? Just call me Irish. Didn't bother calling me James or anything else. Call me Irish. Irish, where are you going to on the CB? Like, it was big over there. So I said, I'm going to get loaded. And he said, I won't be in the tip when you get back to like the tip you. I said, sure, I'll wait for you to come back, you know. So I got in and got loaded and I got out to the tip. It was a handy tip now, in fairness. And I said, whatever happens here now, I said, try to get the load off, but don't break it.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't break it. Like, they're not expecting you to be able to tip anyway, so just get the load off. So it's easy to tip the trailer. You just reverse back and you tip the trailer straight up. Then you have to put the trailer off to
Oh, you have to put it off to the side.
off to the side.
Put it in the same place. Or
You can put it right or left, or you can bring it right back up to the cab beside you. So if you put
so
it
you back the dolly under itself.
under itself, and the trailer comes so far back around, if you got out of the cab, you nearly reached the back of the trailer if you wanted it, if you were good at it.
So is the dolly underslung as well?
A dolly is underslung and the trailer is running parallel with the body of the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I took my time anyway, and eventually after about 5 or 6 minutes, I got it tipped anyway, and that was it. Away and a hack.
And what was the gearboxes like on them? Are they crash gearboxes?
So that one, I was looking up. She was an automatic.
Okay.
She was an automatic, but the foreigner, or not the foreigner, the foreman said to me, he said, by God, Irish, he said, for an auto boy, you can get that job to move. Because we were kind of, I weren't getting paid with low, we're getting paid with the hour, but if you had a good week, like after a while, your man would give you an extra little bit, like at the end, like, you know. So I used to be giving to it every day. Because you were sitting in traffic for hours on end in Sydney.
Was it in the middle of the city you wore all the time?
Most of the jobs were demolition jobs. So over there, if you knock a building, they usually like pile drive down into the ground, maybe 30 foot, 40 foot into the ground, and they make an underground car park before they start.
Australians are mad into pile driving.
Well, sure, you're in Sydney. You're in Sydney, like, so the ground is scarce, so they make the most of it. Like, so that was what we used to do. I actually liked it, but then I must have stayed there for about.
Were you living in Sydney?
Living in Sydney.
With readers?
Friends of mine took me in. There wasn't actually a room in the house for me when I got there, but then I think someone left, and by chance I actually got a room, like, and it was actually a real nice house. It was a good break to get, because accommodation is a big problem over there. Like, it's expensive, like, especially when you're trying to get up on your feet. So the boys that took me in, fair play to them, like, But stayed there.
Shout out to the boys.
Yeah, sure. I was a cool house.
How did you get to work? Did you buy a car?
I bought a car.
What'd you buy?
I bought a Ford Falcon.
What the fuck is that?
It's like a Ford Scorpio.
Ford Scorpio?
Yeah. It's like a Ford Scorpio for all the world.
How much was it?
It was $1,850.
Was it pile of shy?
It was. It actually looked like a rent car. But if you put on the air conditioning and revved it up at the same time at the traffic lights, it just cut out.
How long did you drive that for? Oh, look at it. No way.
No, that's not it. No, Ford Falcon.
I was going to be very impressed now. So I wasn't. If you had been driving around that job.
No, it's not that, no. But, yeah, so it wasn't a great joke, but if you learned how to nurse it, she'd go, like, you know, just don't accelerate too hard. I don't know what was wrong with it. I tried to get it sorted out a couple of times and it ended up worse. So
were you starting to really like it out there and like the life, or did you like the lifestyle?
So we're knocking around Sydney, we're having the crack. Like, the boys were there, all my friends
Still
were
doing
there.
as much drinking?
Like, we had a pool at the house, like barbecue area at the back. Like, I think there was one day there was 30 people or 25 people in Thomastown just in the bar at the barbecue, like, you know. But there was, the whole town was going over there at that stage.
Were you making money?
I was making reasonable money. But by God, I was I was spending it like.
But it's so hard when people say, like, what is making money over there? Like, are you making money but your lifestyle is too expensive to justify it? It
was costing me about €900, or that's her. She was silver and all.
If you're watching on YouTube, it's a real home and away car.
But it was a couple of years older than that one now.
2,499. That one's spotless.
Yeah,
2016.
Definitely older than that.
Jesus. Did you have that the whole length of time you were out there?
Yes, so then, like I said, we're in Sydney for about 5-6 months, and myself and Regers then said, like, we've enough of this. Not, you know, we're having the crack, but we want to go somewhere else. So I had a sister in Adelaide.
Oh, your sister was out there?
And so did he.
How long was she out there?
She's still out there. She was actually only home there. 2 sisters only home there lately. Only there like a week ago, and they're gone back there. But at the time,
full time out there.
At the time, she was out there just guessing 3 or 4 years, you know, and they were living in Adelaide. So we said, "Feck it, we'll drive to Adelaide. We have 2 cars. Like, we might as well drive to Adelaide." So we set off one morning about, I think about 2:30 or 3 o'clock. We got up.
Did you leave your job?
Oh yeah.
So you said to me, "I'm quitting and going somewhere else."
Like, your man was a great job. The foreman was sound, but the boss wasn't great. He wasn't great.
Prick.
Yeah, like, he could try and cut your wages there and just not pay and give you half and just messing, like, you know.
What was his name?
I can't.
I'm joking.
But yeah, so anyway, we headed off. And I was after leaving the car into a garage just around the corner and asked them to sort out this spluttering. Like, we're going driving, I just, off the top of my head, I think it's about 13 or 1400 kilometres, right? I wanted the car, right? Gave it to your man. Your man took off the exhaust off the car. He thought the catalytic converter was blocked. And we were heading down this road, like, we're going to Sydney maybe 3 hours, right? And I could hear, do you know, when you're into machinery, you know when something is going wrong.
Yeah.
Even though, and then you're saying to yourself, it's not going wrong. If you keep thinking it's going wrong, it's going to go wrong. So I could feel the flicking, my legs getting like a bit numb, and the rattling was getting louder. And I knew well it was loose at the catalytic converter underneath the car. He obviously thought the cap was blocked. Well, I don't know. We're getting near Wagga Wagga.
Is that a real place?
That's a real place, yeah.
Sounds racist.
Or Wagga Wagga, or Wagga Wagga, whichever way you want to pronounce it. And the exhaust hit the ground. Probably about 100 kilometres an hour, because we weren't speeding over there because there's speed vans everywhere, and or not speed vans, cops with this radar stuff checking speed. So we were just tipping on, and yoke hit the ground. Oh, gee, it was a disaster. But we limped her into town, and
exhaust dragging the ground.
I think I got tied up a small bit with a bit of wire I took off the ditch. I got tied up a small bit, and we got to town, and we went to a lad, and he said to me, yeah, he'd fix it. And just we only went downtown, got breakfast, came back, and the car was outside the door, fixed right to rock. But we're after losing hours now at this stage. It's probably.
Were you on a time constraint?
So we didn't have to get there in the one day. Reager's girlfriend was with me at the time as well. I think they kind of wanted to stop, maybe do a day overnight. I'm not sure. But I had it in my head, let's punch it out in the one day. Just to get there and say you done it, and, you know. So we headed on again anyway. And just it was the experience now. It was an experience now, because, like, you know, as you know,
was it across the desert?
There wasn't much there now. You come into towns, petrol station there.
Small.
Yeah, a petrol station there. There were some towns there that like would have a long street, and I'm like, then there were some towns there was no town, it was just a shop.
But when you're going on a long journey like that, like how many hours?
So we left at 3:00, say. I think we got in around 10:00 that night.
Right. So are you on big, like in the film, big,
Straight
long,
roads.
dead straight roads,
And like when
kangaroos everywhere?
and like when you look out, so that was in New South Wales and South Australia. So when you look out to pass out the truck, you can see the road sweltering in front of you. So you can actually, if it was a silver car coming or a white, you mightn't actually see it, like, you know. But all the trucks we passed out, they passed us back. When we pull into the shop or pull to get a break or pull in for a piss or whatever.
They wouldn't stop.
Because they wouldn't stop. They were just keeping it rad, like. Yeah.
Fuck.
So got to Adelaide then, and one of my friends got me a job. I worked for a company. I was doing steel fixing down in Tasmania. That's what I've done that then for about. That was the experience now, being down in Tasmania. Put down.
What's the difference in Tasmania and the other?
Well, Tasmania is actually a lot like Ireland. It's very green. Like Australia's not that green, obviously. So
Any devils?
I didn't see any of them.
So that's a load of shy.
They seem to talk about it a lot down there, but I think it is a lot, right?
So how long were you there?
I was in Tasmania for, I don't know, another 5-6 months.
5 months and you didn't see a devil.
6 months.
It's a load of shy.
I was doing a job down there. We're putting in foundations for a transmission line for a wind farm. And down there working away, everything was going great. You know, I was doing 11 days on.
You never seen him?
Never seen him, no.
Doesn't look a bit like Taz.
I seen a few snakes. I seen one snake one day that frightened the life of me.
How big was he?
I walked over just off the edge of the side. Like we were
English.
building in the middle of like the forest, like real dry ground. Every time you walk and it crunches underneath you, like. And I just walked over just away from the base just for a piss, and just put my foot down on a bit of shrub, like, and I just seen this little thing just scamper off, like.
I'd shite myself.
No, but it was only like that long. I walked over back to the boys and said, I just seen a snake. I was delighted with myself. And the boys said, Jesus, like, what kind of snake was it? The Aussie's like, small little lad. Sure, he's a grand. I said, he's grand lad, you know. And they said, lad, what do you mean grand lad? Sure, so if I get bit, sure, I'll get the jab and I'll be grand. Lad, you get the jab. You get bit, you're dying. Do you realise how far you are away from everything down here, like? I said, sure, do you not have... No. Like a 1 hour, and then like
Well, what happens then?
you start going brain dead. And the small snakes as well aren't able to control their venom, so they just pump it in. So
So how many people get bit?
I don't know, but I didn't get bit anyway.
So do you wear, like, did they tell you to wear...
Yeah, we had to wear long pants, just long pants and boots and long sleeves. But sure, I'd say, yeah, well, after I heard that, I actually had a whole new take on the whole snake the thing. I
wouldn't like that. Spiders?
I never minded spiders. One of the boys there was afraid of his life from down there, alright, but I never really minded them.
Check your shoes in the morning.
No, I didn't, because we were staying in the B&B and it wasn't too bad.
Is that where you stayed when you were there, in B&Bs?
Yeah, we stayed in at the back of a pub. The pub fed us. It was a great job because
You weren't spending so much money.
working 11 days on, 3 days off. They fly you back every second weekend. You go back and have a blowout in Adelaide, and then you go back.
Get
on
what?
Again. You have a blowout.
Jesus! I was there thinking that's the best job in the world. Fly you off every 11 days. They're saving you blowjobs.
The estimated incident of snake bites annually in Australia is between 3 and 18 per 100,000.
That's not that bad.
Not that bad, no.
And how many people die? Come back to me on that. And so, how long did you stay at that?
So I was at that for about 5 or 6 months. A job was going well now. It was.
Didn't have to buy a car or anything, so it was...
Well, I still had the car outside the house in Adelaide, but I didn't have to drive it for all, like. And job was going well. I was making good money. I was starting to really, really save money. And
What's the story with women?
Sorry?
Was there many women out there? Like?
There was many women out there. There was not in Tasmania though. There wasn't much. Like, the only women you'd see is you go to supermarket.
Really?
You go to supermarket, or there wasn't any.
No women are
beside that.
Tasmanian devils.
Like the site we were on was like 70 kilometres long or something like that, and it was out in the middle of nowhere, like, you know.
How many people died?
81,400, or sorry, around 81,410 to 137,880 people die each year because of snake bites.
Fuck me.
And around 3 times as many amputations and other permanent disabilities caused by snake bites annually.
Well, it wasn't me anyway, so.
Thank God. Fucking hell.
Yeah, so I was working away down there. That was going well. And yeah, like the lads I was working with kind of had a bit of respect for me, like the bosses did, and it was grand. Just then, my father was sick at home at the time. I knew he was sick, but I didn't really know he was sick. I was talking to him on the phone. He used to talk to me nearly, when I was driving the truck in Sydney, he knew I used to get into the car at 5:15, 5:30. It was like an alarm clock. 5:35, phone would ring.
For chat.
For a chat. It might be only 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I'd check in, see what's going on, whatever time it was in Ireland at the time, I don't know. And I'd check in for a chat. And then I was in Tasmania, and I was on I don't know what, a network I was, but it didn't work in Tasmania that well unless you were back at the pub. So I was in radio silence all day long down on site, like, you know, until I got me a Telstra SIM card or whatever, you know. But yeah, so that was it. I came back to Adelaide, just flew home on Friday night as usual, had a few drinks on the way home and just chilling out, come back into the house. And I knew, like I said, I knew he was sick. I didn't know what was going on. Well, I knew he had cancer, but I just thought it was cancer and he was just going to get treatment and everything was going to be grand.
Were they not telling you how bad it was, or was it just didn't know, or what was it?
I don't know. Like, I think I knew a certain amount myself at the end. I started kind of thinking, like, he's not ringing as often as he used to be ringing, and something going on here, like, you know. And I had when you have a really bad feeling in your gut, you don't know what it is. I just had that feeling in my gut on one of the stints. I was down in Tasmania. I just had this really bad feeling. I was just like worried all the time, you know, for this 11-day stint. And I got back into Adelaide that night and the Friday afternoon or whatever, Friday evening. I walked in the door and I can't remember, I think my sister rang me. And she said to my father I was getting a blood transfusion or something along the lines of that. And he said if his blood clots overnight, he could die. So that was like a shovel into the face. Then that was like, Jesus, you know. So her sister came home from work then an hour later and I told her, and so we just went to book flights. That was Friday night. So we booked flights then. So we had to wait obviously till the Saturday night to fly out. So we went up in the air. On Friday night at 10 o'clock, whatever. So we were out with radio, like out of coverage between Dubai and out the whole lot. We're out of coverage for maybe 23, 24 hours.
You just dropped everything and left?
Just walked away. My sister Laura's the husband now was in the house, so he stayed there, and we just walked. All I had was the car anyway. It didn't really matter a whole lot to me. So I just walked up in the air. We didn't know if he was still alive when we touched down. Got down. I got back to Thomastown. Father was down in hospital. I just got into the van I had at the time, and drove straight to Waterford. Walked straight in the door, and here he was in the bed, and like he seemingly hadn't got up that much in the last the few days before.
Did he look different?
Oh, that he was shook, and he didn't get up that much. I think the nurse were helping him, and when I walked in the door, he actually just sprung up, like not sprung because he wasn't able to do that, but his chest sprung off the bed, like, you know. And he just said, "Junior, get me away, you know, bring me home."
Take home.
Met the doctor then. The doctor didn't say things not good and about making him comfortable, all this stuff. I didn't know like this was what was in front of us at all.
Yeah.
You know. So
this was the first time you were hearing the real situation that you were in.
Yeah, it kind of was a bit.
Were you raging they didn't tell you?
Well, they did tell me. Like, I knew it was going on all the time, and I knew like he was getting treatment, and I knew everything. But I don't know, was I just so young and
it's not
22 or 22 years old, and you're over in Australia. I thought I was coming home to see him at Christmas, and I was going back again. I thought everything was going. See, I was coming home for Christmas anyway, so I wasn't that panicked, like. Yeah. But So that was it. Sure, brought him home. Got about a week with him. 6-7 days maybe that he was able to talk back to us, and then the other week then was like the home care team were in and it was downhill. And I think like it was only like 2 weeks from the time I touched down. You know, that was surreal. That was surreal. I was 22 years old.
Did you feel very like because you were the only son, very on your own in that situation? Like
I did feel I didn't really ever feel like I was the only son though. You know, I didn't really ever feel like I was the only child or anything like that, because the girls were there, like, you know. But I didn't know what to feel. I couldn't believe what was happening, to tell you the truth. I couldn't believe what was happening, because he was after being out in Australia with us. Like, that was December. Well, I came home at the end of November. He had been out in Australia with us in April. And he was staying in our house in Sydney, and he was complaining about pain in his back. And there was like 13 people living in the house. And he used to be talking to the girls in the house saying, Jesus Junior's mattress is too soft. I have a pain in my back.
Yeah.
And sure, it wasn't that. It was actually, cancer just took so long to get diagnosed. You know, but I don't know if it would have got diagnosed. It was an aggressive type anyway, so, you know. So that was that then, like funerals and everything. And I spoke at the church, and it was just a spin.
How did you get the job of doing that?
I think I looked for it, to be honest, or someone asked me, was I going to? And I just said I was. You know, I just said I was.
Are you delighted you done it now?
I did, and I done a good job. There's no point saying I did. Like, I did. I didn't know what I was going to say, and then I just writ it out. I'd be very bad at that stuff anyway, but I writ it out. And I actually came across fairly well. Like, I told him, you know, it's the story of his life and everything. He started with nothing, and he ended up what he ended up with, like, you know. It was tough. It feels like a long time ago now. It feels like a long time ago.
Well, for you, did they not feel? Was there not an added pressure? Did you not feel it then? Like, he had lorries, he had a business. Did it mean that, were you there thinking, is this my job now, or what do I do now? Or did your mother say anything to you, like, what happens now? Or
well, when I was, like when you met my father and you said to him, where is the young lad? You said he's gone to Australia. That conversation probably went on for a little while, like between the two of you, you know. And he was saying, like, you know, I hope he comes back, or just that. As soon as he came out there himself for a holiday, he wanted to come out there. he wanted to park the lorries and go himself, because it was just, the life was easier.
experience.
Yeah. So, yeah, there was mixed signals. I kind of knew in the back of my head I was taking it on.
Even there and then?
I did. I think I did. I don't think I admitted it to myself or even thought about it. But I didn't think for a second that I wasn't taking it on, if you know what I mean. I just had going back to Australia put out of my head. That was just gone out of my head. I think I was just trying to do the best for what he had worked so hard for his whole life. Like, I was only having the crack in Australia anyway, so like, it was never going to be forever. I am a home bird. I like going down to town, you know, locally, and so I just said.
When you lost your father, does the child disappears very quick, and the young lad, when you have to take on the responsibilities, then you're the man of the house, kind of.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, when you're 22 years old, like when you're 22 years old, you don't know what you're feeling really. Like, don't you know? You could be angry 1 second, you could be mad another second, you could be mad into it the next second, you know. I can't remember what it was like. I thought at the time that I was in control, but looking back now, definitely not. Like, you know, like I started working hard. I probably took on the business.
Can you remember what your first thing you done? Like, you're there, and just to settle on the funeral and stuff, and you're there, right? Yes. I may go drive something, or I may figure out what's happening here.
My father had 2 drivers at the time. He had 3 trucks, 2 drivers at the time. There could have been another truck parked up in the yard, I'm not sure. And I remember one of my drivers, he's still with me now, and he looked at me in the shed one day and he said, like, maybe, I can't remember, was it a week or a month after the funeral? Time just passed so quickly that I don't know, was it like, the funeral was December, I don't know, was this January? Maybe, right? And he said to me, are you going to take it on, or are you going to go back? Everyone was kind of asking this question. All my neighbours were wondering, not in a bad way, just like curious, like, what's going to happen next, like. And I just said, no, I'm pushing ahead. And sure, I had like I had no brother, but I had a cousin that lived down the lane from me, and he was always up in hours when I was growing up. And it was the two of us there. The two of us said he was going to get the license. The two of us said we'll push on, like, you know, we'll push on, and we did. We
Were you nervous?
What?
Were you shouting at doing it?
Before I went to Australia, my father used to let me organise some of the loads sometimes. We used to draw fertiliser. I think he used to let me do this just to see was I able to. Now it was very simple what I was doing anyway, but I think he used to give me the ropes a bit, you know. So
Let you know who the contacts are, who you ring.
yeah, well, I was just talking to him anyway, and I was very interested at the time, even though I was doing it, because I knew I wasn't going to go back blocklaying anyway, so I knew I had to make a career at something for myself. And I said, sure, I'm able to do this. I'm not too bad at it, so I might as well do it, like, you know. But I think at the time I was nervous because I was so determined. Determination was unbelievable. And yeah, sure, I worked away for a while, and things were tough. Diesel was very expensive back then.
That was when the diesel was mental.
Like, if you turned over 800 euros in the day or 700 euros, there was at least 50% of it gone on diesel, if not more.
And you had more expensive rigs, you had cranes and...
We had only one crane that time, I think. One crane that time, yeah. And I was a flat runner with me. And my cousin was driving the flat runner with me. And yeah, things were starting to pick up. And not like a business-wise, but like we were starting to get into a bit of a rhythm, like. Starting to get into a bit of a rhythm.
You were starting to push more towards the forestry end of it.
I was. I had 2 lorries of timber, and then Dan, he was delivering steel. And then like yeah, so we were delivering Dan was delivering the steel. And we said Paul were going around with the flat trailer and the crane trailer. And I really started to get going at it. Like, we're working hard up and down the road every day. And then like I stayed at home on Monday, and we went to a steam rally there on a Sunday for the whole weekend. My father was a steam engine, so we went to the steam rally at the weekend, and there was something wrong with Paul's truck. So I stayed at home on the Tuesday, the bank holiday, to look after or to fix the truck. And Paul went off my truck, and there was an accident that day with the crane, and my cousin, and he got killed. And that was like that was serious. Like, that was like
The worst.
yeah, that was like let's give up everything. Like,
That was a shock to the whole industry. That must have been some
it
kick
was
in the hole.
it was, and I was only 23, 6 months after my father. I was. Yeah, I didn't know. There was no words that time. You know, there was no words. And I was very close to just stopping. I don't think I worked that time for maybe 3 months. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's all a blur.
You done well to go back at it even.
I think I just stayed at home. And if you ask me how long I stayed at home for, I'd say a week. But I know well that it was a long time. You know, it was a long time. I you know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to look or what to do or where to go, or yeah.
What did you do?
I think a couple of months passed, and
You didn't blame yourself for it, did you?
no, I didn't blame myself, but yet, like, you're all the time thinking about everything. What if this? What if that? Like, and then you're thinking about there's everyone else. You're thinking about everything. Like, there's so much stuff running through your brain.
And you're young.
And you're young, and you're angry then. You're getting dealt, like, your father, and now this, and then, like, when you're the boss, you can't help but feel some way responsible for what's after happening. It's after happening on your watch, like, you know. So, I didn't know what to do back then, and it was an older crane at the time, and I think I said to myself one day, if I'm going to go back at it, I'm going to buy a brand new crane. And that's what I done. I went up and I ordered the sales rep met me around October, I think. I didn't even know what a Palfin crane was at the time, an Epsilon, because we were only going around with an old crane. And I just I just ordered one of them, and that's where I started off. And the crane came a couple of weeks later, or maybe a month later. I'm not sure.
Did you find the
And I went
hardest thing to go back at?
I went back to work. Went back to work, and like, you know, when you drive into a place, everyone's looking at you. Everyone's looking, there he is there now, and they don't know where to talk to you or where not to talk to you. And some people talk to you, and some people talk to you to make themselves feel better. I felt at the time, because I was so angry at the whole world, you know. And I used to like it, you know. People bring it up or whatever. But went back to work then, and Jesus, like I was so angry. So I used to be going out the weekend, you'd be drinking,
Pissed off.
you'd be getting
Triggered.
you'd be getting drunk, and there'd be people down the town saying, like, someone could say one bad thing to you, and you could just eat their head off, like, you know. You could bite their head off, like, and that went on for a couple of years.
Did you ever go to see anyone or talk to anyone? That wasn't
No.
sexy back then, wasn't it?
I thought about it, and by the time I actually said I was going to go, I felt like I was a little better then, and then I was afraid what it would do to me, so
Didn't want to bring it back. You thought you didn't want to bring it all
I
back
didn't
up.
want to bring it all back up again. And there was the day go by that, don't think about it, like, you know, not one day, you know. He's like, you know, it's probably like a brother. I didn't have a brother, so
That was the nearest thing.
that was your brother. I really, like, you know.
Yeah.
So then I just kicked back into the work and said, if you're going to have to buy a new crane here now, you're going to have to pay for it. So you may start working hard again. Got back into it anyway. I think I was only back working, I'd say 2-3 weeks. I remember being above in Sligo one day, and I was loading timber, and I still had an old trailer at the time, and I reached across for a grab of timber, and the pin on the trailer pulled down to the rubbing plate.
Fuck off.
Yeah, and I was standing above. I was sitting above the crane, and it was on a hill, and it was an English truck, so they don't brake the trailer with the handbrake. You have to manually pull it. So I used to never do that. So I was above the crane, and I heard a click, 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 and I was there. There's no noise of the crane next. The crane is brand new, so I looked down at the Susies, the airlines going from the truck to the cab, and they were getting longer.
Oh, fucking hell.
And I just said to myself, here we go now. Like, I don't know what came into my head. I just thought of my cousin, obviously, and I just said, I just ran and jumped off the crane.
That's a high jump.
So you know yourself the height of a panel finger crane, like, it's a long way to the ground, and I landed about 4 foot underneath the ground where the timber was stacked.
Jesus.
And I jumped down, and I don't know what way I jumped, but whatever way I jumped, as soon as my feet touched down, I kind of rolled over onto my back. So I didn't try and stand up, like, you know, just by pure chance I didn't break at. And then I got off at fright then. I got the trailer fixed. Sure, then I was nearly going to give up then again, you know.
It sort of brought everything back again.
Oh,
didn't
everything
it?
back. Everything back. I was only back to work 2 or 3 weeks.
And were you the type of lad, were you keeping everything to yourself? Were you telling your friends how you were feeling, or your family, or mum or sister?
My best friend, we used to be talking about it to each other. So I think that's the way the two of us dealt with it. Like, you know, we talk about it to each other all the time, but not to many others. No.
That's difficult when you're also trying to run a business and pay your taxes and pay your VAT and keep diesel and work. And
yeah, my mother was doing the books, and sure, every month you'd be asking her, how are things going? You know, and
don't tell me if it's bad.
sure, you'd want to know if it's bad, and then it'd be in your head, you know. But I bought the new crane, and then after that, then I said to myself, you may buy a new trailer, and I went off and ordered a new trailer, and sure, I never looked back after that. I said to myself, every month the payment was going out for the trailer and the crane. I said, used to ring Carmel, my mother, and say, well, what's the bank like this week, you know, after the payment going out? And 6 months, 8 months, 10, you know, the year went by, and like, we literally didn't even know we were paying for it, because there was no repair.
And no repair, no breakdowns.
There was no repair. I was up and down the road, you know, and money was starting to come in, like.
But you were working like a bastard.
I was working hard, I suppose. I used to get up very early, so I used to make the day easy enough on myself.
I love the way timbermen think. Work all night.
Sure,
And then think they're getting a have done, but they're really working 2 days in one.
Yeah, I used to get up around 4 o'clock, maybe 4:15, that time, 4 o'clock. Anytime between 3:30 and 4, I used to kick off.
But you definitely drove on the business. You lived it. Like
See,
for
that time it was only me and Dan. He was delivered steel first that time, and I was drawing timber then on my own. It was just me, and I'd done that for a good while.
Was I your favourite person to draw timber off? Tell the truth.
Sure.
Of course it was.
You were, but sure, I wasn't there to drive the crane at the time. So anyone that was able to stack well, you'd remember them like. But sure, I used to see you nearly every day at that time.
Every day, yeah.
Every day. You were over there around New Inn or that,
Yeah.
and I was into you nearly every day.
Yeah. Kilconnell and Capatagal.
Capatagal. Yeah.
And you had a lovely little Scania at that time. You were
Yes.
after getting that Scania. That was a lovely little lorry.
It was a little white lorry, and I think it was crashed before I got it. I bought off a Scania garage, and I think it was crashed before I got it. So it was painted, and then I painted the bottom to match the trailer. And the whole thing, unless you looked at the plate, you could say it was a brand new lorry.
You had it mint.
It was mint, and the trailer was mint, and the trailer was new, sir. There wasn't that much stuff like that on the road that time. And no, it used to stand out.
When did you start going, I see a light at the end of the tunnel now, I'm starting to
I honestly
way here.
think it was about 4 years later, 3 or 4 years before I stopped being angry. Like I said, I was getting, obviously we still go out and get drunk, but
Yeah.
that time I was doing angry, and got around with Kenny one night, and I had a massive black eye there at one Christmas. I got a kick in the eye, nearly lost the eye. Well, I was lucky like that. He just caught me on the bone. And after that, I said to myself, one of my father's friends actually tackled me in the pub one night and said to me, you're doing this, you're doing that, you need to cop on. And I did. It was like a switch. I went home that night, walked home to the pub, and it was like a switch. Monday morning, I said to myself, I need to straighten myself out. And I did. I started actually working on the business then. Said to myself, I might start, I started looking into getting another truck maybe. Can't even remember which truck I got. But, I put another truck of timber, I think, that time.
You got the silver truck after that, didn't you?
No, I got the DAF, I think. Bought a 08 DAF off a friend of mine. And I put a young lad driving it there. Around the same age as myself. Yeah, I done him. And then 2 trucks. And then, what did I do then?
You have some gear now.
I had 2 trucks for a good while. And I just can't remember where I got the third timber lorry.
So for anyone out there, the name of the lorry, you'd probably see him on the road if you're in Ireland. You won't see him anywhere else. Is Norvale.
A Norvale Transport. Yeah.
Norvale Transport. That's your Townsend. Or is that a name that came out of?
No, Norvale. So my father was looking for a name for the company. And so we lived beside the River Nore. And he came up with this, a Norvale. And as soon as I heard it, it was just
That was it.
a click. And he named it that. I don't know what year it was. And then sure, I obviously took on that then when he passed. And then I went from, like I said, I went from the 2 trucks, the 2 timber trucks. I still had a truck of steel. Then I went to 3 trucks, and then I was spending an awful lot of money on repair. And I bought my first new truck in 2016. I bought it in 15, obviously, came in 16. And I was afraid of my life.
Really?
It was something like 120,000. And at the time, it was foreign money.
Yeah.
At the time, it was foreign money, And truck came, same thing. And 6 months went by, and I didn't even realise I was paying for the truck.
No breakdowns, no repairs.
Breakdowns. This is great. This is great. And then I was still driving. There was 2 old trucks. And the penny didn't drop at me for a long time after that. I stayed in the old trucks until about the end of 2019. I bought another truck for one of the boys in 19. And so the 16 and 19 at that stage. And then I bought it off, and I splashed out, and I bought a new 650 Scania for myself.
Yeah, you did splash out.
I did splash out.
That's a fucking gorgeous shot.
And there was sleepless nights now when I had it ordered. When I had it ordered, there was sleepless nights thinking...
When you were ticking all the boxes now.
And there are some boxes when you go down to buy a Scania.
Yeah, there's a lot of boxes.
There are some boxes. Like, people just think, like, stuff just comes. If you order a Scania with nothing on it, you'll get the steering wheel and the seat, and that'll be all that's in it. You have to tick every box. Everything is extra, you know. So I ticked all the boxes anyway, and the truck came.
Was that a little present for yourself?
I think it was. I was trying to gather a few pounds so I could have a deposit to buy this truck, when some sort of a deposit, whether it was 10 or 20 or 15,000 or something like that. 15,000. I said I need a deposit for this, you know. That was kind of, you know, you have to get into here now. If you can't afford to buy yourself a good truck, what's the point of being at?
Especially if you're the one sitting in it every day.
Yeah. So I bought the truck, put the truck on the road, and then straight away, again, I was there. Geez, this is some job. The truck was light on fuel, up and down the road, no breakdowns. You know your timber. If you have older gear, you're broke down a good bit.
Yeah.
If you work it out over a month, got 2 or 3 breaks down, you're paying mechanics. And,
Time, mechanic, parts.
And that was it then. I bought that truck. That was big money. And then I ordered 2 more. I ordered maybe... Yeah, so that was in the end of 19. And then I took out 2 new 660s in 22. And I took out a new 660 this year, the very start of the year. And so on and so forth, you know. I kind of was afraid of finance before, but then once you do it a couple of times, you kind of just forget about it. You just sign on. And
What's been your proudest moment in the business since your father passed?
I'd say the proudest moment would be just probably getting the silver truck. I'd say it was a landmark for me. It was a landmark for me. I knew when I got it on the road and when I was working it, it was going to work out. You know, I knew it was going to work. I'd say that was one of them. There's probably another one that was more important, but I can't think of it right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Is your mum proud of you?
I'd say she definitely is. Yeah.
Do you get on well?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Even when you work together? I'm just trying to think about me working with my mum and
Yeah,
my
we
mum
work-
telling me what money I'm spending. I think it'll be a lot of stress.
Yeah, we worked together, and like you know yourself, years ago, everyone was afraid of finance. And when I started born to start, like I was kind of going off the way my father was kind of doing it, like, but that was kind of like back then, and things had moved. So I just one day I just clicked with me, just start buying, like, and just don't be afraid of it. And I used to put down deposits on stuff.
You're kind of investing in yourself, aren't you? You're investing in your business.
And it's when you buy a couple of things, you realise that you're not just buying a truck that's worth this amount of money. When you have the truck paid for, it's also your truck, like, so you have the money, like, you know. And once you start looking at it like that, and you put, you know, and you put safety nets in place, and when you're buying stuff to make sure if anything goes wrong, you're not going to be on your back, like, the pressure and the stress just goes out of it. It does for me anyway.
But you still work long weeks.
I still work long weeks.
What do you hate most about the haulage industry?
Just that is a tough question.
Do you ever feel like
I
everything's
wish-
again you?
I wish people would pull together more. I wish haulers would pull together more.
Is that haulage or forestry more related?
It's haulage. It's haulage.
Across the board?
Yeah, across the board. I know loads of people in different walks of haulage, and you know, I do wish people would pull together more. See the way the French do it.
Yeah.
They want something, they just block the motorways.
I know.
Yeah. Here, like, it's not like that.
No, we just have little things to give time limits. Would you think you're talking an hour now?
I actually spotted the yoke there a while ago. The time on the telly.
When I asked James to come up and do this, it's the same thing with everyone. I ask people, I like to get normal people on to talk, you know, because they have actually real stories. And everyone always says, oh, the fuck, I'm not coming on. No one wants to hear me, or I have nothing to say, or I don't want to talk. Or you thought you'd be nervous. It's actually grand.
No, it is grand. It's grand, but you're all the time thinking about, oh my God, you forget for a minute during the story, then you see the microphone again. You know?
Yeah, no. Well, you're not used to looking at this yoke hanging.
Yeah,
in
you're
front
not
of your
used to
face.
it, no.
Yeah.
And yeah,
What do you dislike most about your days? So what's your worst part of your day?
there's no worst part of my day really. I don't really hate any of my day.
You hop up in the morning, alarm goes
Yeah,
off.
like I get up there anytime between 4:30 most mornings. Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, I get up. I am happy enough to be in the truck in the morning. I think it's actually quite relaxing. I do a lot of long haul, so it's quite relaxing for me for first 2 hours of the morning, phone's not ringing. You're just the radio. Or
Have you a good work-life balance now?
I do be very busy some weeks. Some weeks be very busy and days will be very busy. But I would like go to music festivals, go on holidays. We all, you know yourself, you'd like to be home more often. I'd like to be home more often. So the trucks are trucks. Like when you go back to the yard, sometimes there's something to be done. The more trucks you have, the more is to be done. Even though the gear is good, there's always some tyre gone, or there's something, some mud guard, or light not working, or fuse after blowing, or there's always something to pull and dragging at. And we're building a house now at the moment, myself and my fiance. So
what's her name?
Michelle.
Shout out to Michelle. He didn't give her second name. She's afraid someone will take her.
And so that is hectic. Building a house now with the
How
house.
far are you gone with that?
The house is second fixed wire now.
Oh, cool,
and the
you're nearly
stonemason is finished building the stone.
Who done the block lane?
Um,
If you say you didn't do it, you lazy bastard.
No, I didn't do it.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I did not do it, no.
Had time. Couldn't take a bit of time off.
Couldn't take a bit of time off. I would lose a fortune if I was to stay at home. Because if you stay at home for one day in the garage, like, you kind of lose touch to what's going on. You need to be on the road. I know as myself, I do other work with the truck as well. And if I go off with that for a couple of days, you lose contact with the timber. Timber you have to be in there at yourself.
Ringing the forward.
Seeing what's in around the woods,
there.
checking it out. You know yourself, I ring you some days.
Yeah.
I wasn't in your woods. You have to be on the ground.
Yeah.
What
mill do you draw into most?
Up to ECC in Cordamona, County Galway. And then we draw the pulp our Galway back down to...
Was I ever telling you about my first drawing into ECC?
I vaguely remember something.
Barry gave me the dolly trailer, and I never drove the dolly trailer before, and I was always fighting with him. I want the dolly trailer. Everyone's telling me it's fucking brilliant. And he says, right, take the dolly trailer, because I had a drawbar trailer. And everyone kept telling me, oh, drawbar trailer's a bastard, and it was a cunt of one. It wasn't well balanced, and David Braid and them all, I love the dolly trailer. So I went down, I got a load, drove up to ECC. It's in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
And I drove up on the weighbridge and I weighed it, and it asked me for a sample. And I had to reverse off the weighbridge. No, I drove forward, took off the sample.
First, yeah.
I couldn't reverse back onto the weighbridge. Wasn't able. And there's all these lads there. Are you not able to reverse it? And I was there, no, I can't. He says, how'd you get it down here? I said, well, I didn't fucking reverse it. Like, it took me ages. I'd go back out, I had to queue again and go in. Oh, it's horrible.
It's horrible. But lad, when you start driving lorries first, no matter what you go, where you land, you get yourself into some handlands. You do. Got myself.
You're well able to mind the lorries in the wood. Not easy.
No, I do. I take pride in the lorry, in the wood.
You must find. Do you not find it hard to have a nice big high lorry in the wood when the fucking browse and the branch?
Mine are not too high. I have one real high one, and I'll never buy it that high again. I have a Super Space Cab, that lovely truck, but it's just so high.
Couldn't mind it.
So high. I'm not on it now. Another boy on it there, but Miller, a big shout out to Miller. He's with me maybe 7 or 8 years there now.
Good driver.
Good driver, yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to do any other kind of haulage? Any other haulage give you a horn?
I don't mind. I done tiny bits of loader work. That's small but interesting, like. But no, I love the timber. I do. I could see myself drawing timber there till you're 60 years old. And
With the gear you have, and no bother to you. Any cabs on any of your cranes?
No cabs.
Don't like them.
I never actually drove a cab crane. I might have sat in one or two. Never drove one, I don't think.
When you're specking your lorries now, is weight a big thing for you? Or do you care?
Weight was a massive thing for me when I was younger. Massive thing. I used to really go into it. And I still go into it. But when you buy a V8, it's kind of like...
Yeah, it's kind of out the window.
It's kind of like, out the window. So I do try to keep the trailers fresh. And the Epson cranes aren't a heavy crane for what they are. So they keep us somewhere reasonable, like.
Are the V8s way easier on diesel than the non-V8s? Be honest. Or is it the way you drive them?
The new V8s, the new ones, like I had a 560 there before, like that was kind of like, like any other lorry on diesel. Not too bad for the year it was in 2016, but the new ones now, I have never got fuel out of them. Like yourself, from Thomastown to Connemara, to up there, it's a tough road. That's our main run, like. And that's a tough road. If you have a lorry that can give you fuel consumption on that run, it's a good truck. Now, maybe I have a new 560 Scania coming there next year. She's the new 6-cylinder, the new super engine. That's meant to be the best on fuel.
They call them great names, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, they've won already. What kind of engine is it? Oh, it's a super one.
Super, yeah. Yeah, so, we'll see, what happens there.
And what would you say your business colour is what?
We are multicoloured. You know I started off red and white.
Yeah. Why did you not nail down the colour?
I think I like trucks being different. Do you know the way if you look at a company and every truck is the exact same? I looked at other companies going around and some, they had white ones, silver ones, black ones, red ones. So every time you see the truck, you actually look at it. But if every truck is the exact same, who really looks at it? Like, you see one, you see them all. I think that's my thinking behind it.
Would you like, if you were going real well known in the future, you had a ball of money, right? This is hypothetical. Would you be into the truck shows, like a show truck?
I go to the truck shows and not time, but not a massive like. When my father was around, we used to go to the vintage shows. Father had a steam engine. He brought the steam engine in from America. Looked at it on eBay.
Buy it on eBay.
A steam engine like this steam engine like would be 17, 18 ton. And there was a couple in America getting divorced, and the two of them wanted the steam engine, and they were going to sell it. I don't think the husband wanted to sell it, but I think he had no choice in the matter because she needed to be paid. He obviously wasn't able to buy her out. So he was in contact by email with this couple, and then they went radio silence for maybe 3 months. Amanda was her name, I remember, because my father used to say that effing bitch Amanda is not emailing back. so eventually then one night, like, the email came through. You could hear it in the corner. Well, I can't remember. It was an old computer in the corner, like, and he checked his email. The email came through. Here's your one back on stream. The steam engine was still for sale. Do you still want it? So he bought that then over the phone, you could say, and had to, I'd say, rob, steal, and borrowed to get the money to buy it, and paid Americans to take it apart
and ship it in parts
and put it onto a pallet. Like some of the pallet boards, the boards in the pallet were that big, like, and loaded into a 45-foot container. And the container landed in Cork. A good friend of my father's picked it up at the time and landed it back in the Ross, and we went down and put it together down the Ross.
in the port.
No, he collected it in Cork, I think, in the port, and brought it back on the truck to New Ross. And then the whole area in New Ross we put together in his yard.
Was it hard to put together?
Wasn't that hard.
Did you do it with your dad?
I did. It's actually on my Facebook page there. I think the picture of it there.
So that yoke has big memories for you and him.
Me and him and my cousin. We were involved in it. 3 of us were involved in it. So we put it together. We wasn't much put together, in fairness. Put the wheels back on, put the chimney back on, put the water tanks back on. It was a ploughing engine, so it pulls direct from the hitch and it ploughs like in the prairies. I think it was pulling like, there's a video on YouTube actually in America, that engine working, pulling a 10-sod plough. And so we used to go around to the shows to that all the time. I don't know, I had interest in it, but you know when you're a young lad, you want to be everywhere, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to be. So we went around to the shows for maybe, I think around 2007. We went around to the shows for what, 4 or 5 years, 6 years, and it's an unusual one. There's not too many American steam engines in Ireland.
It was worth a few pound.
It's worth a few pounds, yeah. Loads of lads often ask my father how much it was worth, and he'd never answer them, so I couldn't answer it either. But it's definitely a valuable machine. And a wise man said to my father one day, he was on about selling it. He said, "Your man, what's it worth?" And your man says to him, "It's worth what it costs to replace it."
They can't be replaced.
Sure, it's very hard to replace it because I don't think they let them out of us, say America, that much anymore, because there's like preservation orders on them. Like,
So is that sitting in your shed now?
It's sitting in my shed now. I only took it out once after my father and my cousin passed away. I only took it out once. But we used to go to the shows all over the country, and we used to do this particular race. It was called the slow race. It goes on at some steam rallies, like so the way it works is like there's a crankshaft on it obviously, and there's a big pulley wheel. The pulley wheel, you know, the big pulley wheel, the big trashing wheel is spinning. spinning. So like if the pulley wheel is moving, it means the crankshaft is moving, obviously. Like, so if you let the crankshaft stop, you're out of race.
All right, so you have to get it to go as slow as
Slow as
possible without
possible.
calving.
And then to get over the line, the last person across the line wins. Or else if all the rest of them stop, then you win. So my father won this race 2 years in a row down in the Shannon Steam Rally. And so that was grand. That was 2012. And then myself and my cousin loaded up and went on down in 2013. And we gave the whole day out in the sun practicing and then done the race and we won it. Yeah, we won it, yeah. And we thought this was absolutely fantastic, like, you know. And then sure, it was amazing. It was a real high point after, you know, my father and then sure that was the bank holiday weekend. It was the Tuesday morning after that.
No way.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That was that then, yeah. And but yeah, that was that then, yeah.
So you haven't fucking got that out since?
No, I haven't got it out. I didn't sell it. My father has vintage stuff all over the place at home. I didn't really sell any of it yet, but I probably will sell some of the tractors and stuff, but I couldn't see myself selling that. There's a lot of history there with it. I think I'd regret if I sold it. I might want it down the line if I ever had kids. I think it's, you know, it's
Have you
interesting.
any of the old lorries?
No, the only truck I have at home that's old is the CR6 Scania, you know, the red and white one I used to drive myself. That's at home, but I don't know if I would have as much interest in that as I would. I have a Mercedes tractor at home. I think I'd be more interested in doing that up than doing up the truck.
Have you one of them?
I had an MB Track, a 90, MB Track 900.
They're cool.
Father bought, I think I was only about 13, 14 at the time. I used to drive to school and never my father go away in the truck.
You did not?
Father was, no, he didn't want me driving to school. But a couple of times I got away with bringing it in. Sure, lad, I used to park in the car park beside the teachers' cars. There was war, sure, I'd say I only got away with bringing it in a couple of times. And then,
Oh, mad bastards down there, weren't you?
yeah, if we got away with it, sure, everyone was telling you the stories tonight about the cars and the field cars, all that carry on. Yeah, we were mad.
You were all that.
Mad. Racing quads, all that stuff.
Are you into quads now?
No, I got a tumble off the racing quad.
I love the way you say that, a little tumble.
Yeah, I got a tumble off the racing quad back in, I don't know.
There was one of them at the truck run. A really
I seen
clean
it.
one.
I seen it on the video.
Fucking lovely.
That's a serious one.
That one's spotless.
That's a 1500, I think.
Yeah.
That's the big one. Mine is only a 90, it's only 900. That's a 6-cylinder. That's a 900 there now, yeah.
And there's much to be done with it.
There's a good bit. 15 or 20,000 euros worth, I'd say.
They're lovely.
They are smashing. And I have a bit of history to it. I used to drive it on the small little farm we had when I was growing up as well.
Do you farm now?
I caught hay and I make hay and I sell it. And I don't do anything else at the farm for the rest of the year. Now for all the farmers this and that probably sounds
Do you get any grant money?
I get bits and bobs.
How much? I'm only messing with you.
Very, very little. Not enough to buy the front seat of your Jeep, and yeah.
What is your dream? Like, where would you see yourself in 10 years? Where would you like to see yourself in 10 years?
Well,
business-wise.
My dream would go further than that. My dream I'd like to be able to retire at 60 years old and just
you won't be able to retire when you're 50, 60 years old in a million years.
No, I probably won't. I'll probably become broke by then.
You're one of these lads that just loves being fucking busy.
I do like being busy, but I also, in fairness to Michelle, we do get away a good bit, like, to different places, and we go, like, we do enjoy ourselves. We get out a lot, and like, lives for living, and you see the way some people's lives get cut short.
Did that make you enjoy now when you look back on that in hindsight, did it make you enjoy your life more, or does it make you afraid of life more?
That's probably one of the reasons I got rid of the quad, because when you go through stuff like that, life is valuable. You see, it's so fragile, it can be taken away at any time, and you really do value the time you have.
Are you ready for the questions?
I am, I think, yeah.
Don't be afraid. What's your first vivid childhood memory? Just being around at home as a child, I think, with my father there and my sisters there, just
just kicking soccer around the garden or just playing like that in general. I think when I think back, I remember my neighbour, the scary dog. I always remember that when I think back to a real childhood. But that's all I can remember. There's no something that sticks out specifically.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, scary dog. I remember me and Garrett's earliest memories, and it's weird because we both have the same one. There was this fox underneath the windowsill at home, a stuffed fox. And when we'd hear Daddy coming home in the evening in the lorry, we'd all stand up on the back of the fox to look out through the window. But we used to break the legs of the fox, and Mother would come in shouting and screaming over us sitting on this fox. If you walked into a room with everyone you'd ever met in your whole life, who would you go looking for first?
And doesn't matter if they're obviously
Doesn't matter.
because of that.
What would you say to him?
I don't know. Don't know what to say, but I definitely ask him something. And yeah,
Is home for you a place or a feeling?
it's definitely a feeling, and it's a place. It's both. I love being at home. Well, I love being at home. Like when I was in Australia, I always wanted to get back to the home place. Like I always, so whatever way.
Are you building near home?
I am building only across the field from my mother, so you can literally see her house from my house.
So you're not really moving anyway.
No, I'm not. And I like it there. I really do like it there. Yeah.
Do you still live at home now?
No, we're renting a house there in Thomastown at the moment there.
Did you find it hard to move out of the house?
No, not really, because we're only 2 miles away, you know. And sure, Michelle moved down from Dublin to me, so...
Is she a Dublin woman?
No, she's originally from Kildare. So she moved... Yeah, she was working in Dublin. I live in Dublin, so I drove up and down for a couple of years.
I remember. I remember that.
And yeah, so the least I could do was move into a house in Thomastown.
Would you like yourself if you met yourself?
I think I would, but you'd have to give me half an hour to introduce myself.
What's something you're holding on to that you need to let go?
There's probably a bit of trauma still inside me. Don't know what it is, but it's definitely still in there. You'd feel it there. You feel it there very regular.
When do you feel it most?
Could be anything. Could be like everything could be going great, and then a song could come on that reminds you of something. Could be a lorry, could be a tractor, could be a car, could be a loader, could be anything. But when there's hurt in there, and I
Does it come out as hurt or anger?
No, it doesn't come out as anger really at all. I think it's just a thought in your head, and you're probably in the truck on your own, as you know, there's loads of time for thinking there, and I think you just puts it fresh in your brain, you know, whatever it is, you know.
What advice would you give to someone in your position that was feeling them feelings?
Just see, I was kind of brought up kind of, you know, get on with it, like just get on with it, and you know, today is today, but tomorrow's another day, and things got better. Like for me, I didn't think things were going to get better, and they did. Like look at me now, I'm, you know, like a happy go jolly, good business. You know, I'm getting married we're getting married the end of next year, building a house. Sure, what more do you want in life, really? Like,
Some people mightn't be as strong.
no, and I think I was strong, but I don't remember being strong. I just remember taking one day at a time. Like, now I do remember one particular night I was at home, and it was after probably all that stuff that went on, and I was trying to fix the truck, and I just was going to give up. And I rang one of my father's friends that had said to me, if you're ever in bother, give me a ring and I'll come down. And he did come down, and he just dug into it, helped me out and got me going. And that was a moment that I always remember. Like you feel like you're just bringing out to the yard and burned up the whole lot. I only had 2 lorries at the time, anyway, but that was
Still so important.
that's a moment that
ask for
I
help.
always remember. I always remember that, you know, the couple of really low moments that you have. I always remember them. And not in a bad way, but I remember pushing through. Just push through.
If you had to ask one person a question and they had to answer you truthfully, what would you ask them?
Just that's a tough question.
Isn't it?
If you had to ask one question. Probably ask the government that are going to take all the tax off the diesel.
Or the VRT off the cars,
no,
be nice, wouldn't it?
That's just amazing. I don't know. I don't know.
It is a hard question.
It is a hard question. Yeah.
Do you believe in God?
I like to think I do. Yeah.
Do you go to mass?
My mother goes to mass. I go at Christmas and stuff like that.
Do you pray in your head?
I don't think I pray, but I definitely talk to someone anyway. I'm not sure who it is, but it's the God. But I definitely look for something sometimes. Yeah.
Do you believe in aliens?
No.
Do you ever get freaked out about things like that when you think about them?
Get freaked out in the woods sometimes. Going to a barrier there at 10 or 11 o'clock and you're on your own.
Do you ever get fright?
God, savage fright one night below in Galway. Loads of stakes in the back of this wood, 4 or 5 miles from the road. Thought I was the only person in here with the birds. Like I thought that was it. And I seen a lad down at the back of the trailer, dark wet night, and he turned around. I walked the other way. Because I didn't know there was a tar road just outside the ditch.
That would freak you out, though.
It would freak you out. I felt like just driving off at half a load.
I got freaked out the other day, just in the wood, and it was in the middle of the day, just thinking about something. I was looking at this thing, and say hello to yourself in your head 5 times. Just in your head, say hello to yourself. If that was you saying hello, you wouldn't be able to do that. Who are you saying hello to? Freaks me out. Think about it. Say hello to yourself in your head. If that was you that's saying that, you wouldn't be able to do that. Who are you trying to answer? Who's answering? Does that not freak you out?
I don't think I'm getting it.
Think about it more and you'll get it.
Yeah.
You'll freak out like I did. Do you trust anyone with your life?
I would, yeah.
Who?
Sure, I trust I trust Michelle and I trust my families probably as well, yeah.
Are you very close with your family?
Would be. Like, there's 2 of my sisters in Australia full time. I only have 1 sister, say, in Ireland. But, of course, so then, like, when you bring it back to that, it's only my mother and my sister that are actually in the country, like, you know. So.
When was the last time you shit yourself?
I was ready for this question. It's a long time ago. Long time ago, but I'll put a twist on it for you. A couple of weeks ago, probably 2 months ago, I went out. Did you know the way when you're used to getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
And so when you go out drinking, then you could get like 2 hours sleep when you come home. Then you could be wide awake.
Yeah.
So I sometimes take a non-sleeping tablet or half-sleeping tablet when I come home from...
Not like a bit of drugs to get you to sleep.
to get to sleep. So I came home to the pub there and took a sleeping tablet. Don't know what it done to me, but...
Please say you shit the bed.
Michelle was downstairs playing with the dog after we came in from the pub, and I walked into the sitting room. The sitting room was dark, and I just started pissing on the dog's bed, and my eyes were open, but I was still asleep. And then I thought I was in the room on my own, and then Michelle shouted at me, "What are you doing?"
Well, I would rather have that happen to me than wake up and have pissed in the bed.
Well, at least you know. I had to wash the dog's bed the next day.
I thought you were going to say shit the bed. That would have been the fucking greatest fucking story. Can you just say shit the bed and I'll edit it that way? What do you want to be known for when you die?
Just a simple, ended, good, honest person, I suppose. You know, probably worked hard to get what I got, I suppose. Something like that. A simple, like.
Well, James, thanks a million for coming.
No problem.
And I genuinely want to tell you that your father and your cousin will be very proud of you.
Thanks.
You're a good lad, sir. And like, you're not that much younger than me, but you are. But thanks a million for coming.
No bother. Thanks for having me.
Sound. Thanks.